you ever heard the tales of people who lived in cliffs along Highway 25W, going towards Jellicoe? I heard these tales quite a few years back, and I just came across some confirmation via newspaper articles, and I thought I'd share this with you guys and put a name with the person who dwelled within the cliffs on Highway 25W. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. This is Cleaning Up History, where my goal is preservation of headstones and cemeteries while telling forgotten stories of the past. This is the story of Daniel Petrey, who at one point lived in the cliffs on Highway 25W, also known as Dixie Highway, between Follett and Jellicoe, closer to Jellicoe, and the story of how he got there. So if you're ever at Crouches Creek Cemetery, stop by and pay your respects to Mr. Petrey. Daniel Petrey was born in quite a large family. He was born in Kentucky, and it looks like in 1900 and 1910 they lived in Pine Mountain, Kentucky, which was in Whitley County. And this is the first article I found regarding Petrey, which didn't mention his name. It's mostly an article talking about whether or not it can rain frogs, but it mentions an old hermit who lived in a cliff in Campbell County, not far from Southern Railway. I'm going to leave this article up long enough, hopefully, that you guys can read it. But I wasn't interested in the story about the frogs. I was interested in the quote-unquote old hermit who lived in the cliffs. So I kept digging, and I will share all of the information that I did find with you. But it states in one of these articles that I found that Daniel, or Uncle Dan as he's called, he lived in several cities. He lived in the city of Jellicoe. He lived in the Fincastle community for a while, and he became sick, and he had asthma-type symptoms, and Dr. Howard in Fincastle recommended to him that he spend some time in the mountain air breathing around pine trees. And, well, that's just exactly what Petrey did. He moved into a cliff before you get to Jellicoe on the Dixie Highway. And he stated that ever since he did that, he never had any more problems with his asthma. I know this article here is a little blurry, so I apologize in advance for that. But I'm trying to let you guys see everything that I did find on Daniel Petrey. But apparently he had in his cliff, it was of course it was an eastern-facing cliff line. So Petrey wasn't the only one that ever took up residence in this cliff line. There were other people who did live there at different time frames, including way back. It was an Indian dwelling as well. But it was an ideal place for someone who wanted to live off the land, because just feet from the entrance to his little cliff, there was a fresh mountain spring that provided him with constant clean drinking water. He had a garden growing on the railroad right-of-way. It said that he had, really good vegetables, green beans, tomatoes, things like that he grew himself. He had chickens, he had a couple of dogs, and there was a couple of cats that actually lived there. And he had stated that some of those animals had just came there and decided that they would live, and it was such a good place that anybody that came there, or any animal, just decided they wanted to stay. In this article where these gentlemen visited Dan, it was written in 1949, so it was during this time frame that Mr. Petrey was actually living in this cliff line. And that's the story that I have on Daniel Petrey, the hermit of Campbell County, Tennessee. And as always, if you like the content of my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. I appreciate all the likes, comments, views, and shares. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.